So you finally want to have an Elementalist build that can solo almost any content in Guild Wars. This build does exactly this. You have so many boons, you have so much damage, and you have huge amount of sustain and damage mitigation. This build does it all. I'm Surma, and without much further ado, let's jump right in. So before I go into the actual traits and gear, I want to say this build is heavily inspired by Lord Heisen's build. I just adjusted some minor things. Of course, really strong still after the nerfs in World vs. World. In PvE, it's still very good. Celestial gear. It didn't get nerfed at all in PvE. So you run full Celestial with Trapper Rune for maximum condition damage, as well as the nice concentration and the defensive stats of Celestial. On your weapon, you want to run Torment Sigil and Frailty Sigil to upkeep vulnerability and get also another condition with Torment. Full Celestial trinkets as well. If you want to run infusions, you should go for either condition, which is the better option, or power. As a relic, I run Relic of the Fractal because it's just increasing your damage even further. If you feel like you really need more Condi Cleanse, you can go for Relic of the Astral Ward. It will give you resistance and remove 2 condition every 2 signets you cast. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, that's how it is. And it's also for allies. So yes, it's a defensive option, but I feel like you don't need it on this build. But if you need more condition cleanse and more resistance, go for this one. So these are the 2 options. I will also mention that this build is really good with tier 10 Jadebot core, because you increase your health, and Elementalist has low health and low armor, so you want to get as much maximum health or effective HP that is as you can get. For utility and food consumables, I would go for tuning icicles or equivalents to those, and of course very hard peppercorn spiced oyster soup for the increased incoming damage, and the celestial food effect. Really strong. There are no better options there, I would say. Before I go to the traits, I want to remind you, if you want to help out my channel and want to see more build guides like this, don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But now to the trait. So for the traits, you want to run Fire, Earth, and Catalyst. Earth is really straightforward. You get damage reduction while you're in Earth, you get some barrier value when you're tuned to Earth, and you get some damage reduction when your foe is near you and your Earth skills get recharged faster. Then you have some bleeding increase, damage, and also duration. Then your condition damage is increased in a percentage of your toughness, really good. And when you immobilize a target, which you can do, you will also apply bleeding. So that's really nice. Be aware of that. And then you have Written in Stone. So all your signet skills, and you have 3 of them, will apply an aura when you cast them. It's nice to have, but nothing crazy. But they will also stay active even though you use them. So the passive will always be active. That's really strong. And that's why you can run the Astral Ward relic, because you can cast it, the signets, without any issue that you lose your passives. Then in Fire, you get some power while you're in Fire. You get some nice burning around you when you tune to Fire and Fire Aura. And your weapon skills will charge faster in Fire. And you deal more damage to burning foes, and your foes are always burning. If they're not immune to burning, that is. And then you get your burning has more duration, that's really important. And you apply burning when you crit. And you crit quite often because of Celestial. And you have Burning Rage, which will increase your condition damage and gives some nice radius increase to your fire application when you swap to fire. You can swap this if you really need more condition cleanse to Smothering Auras, because then all your signets will remove a condition. So if you fight a really heavy condition damage enemy, for example in Chantier Wilds, you would swap this for a little DPS loss and go with Astral Ward Signet, and you have so many cleanses, it's insane. But most of the time it's not needed. And then you get Pyromancer's Puissance. That's because you don't have any fire fields on this build. Your Catalyst Sphere doesn't count and your hammer doesn't have any. So therefore you go with Pyromancer's Puissance. Every time you're in combat, hit an enemy with a fire skill or any skill while you are tuned to fire gives you might. And to get some nice explosions, so that's really nice here. So then in Catalyst, you get access to your sphere. We will get to that in a second. Then when you disable or immobilize a foe, you gain empowerment, elemental empowerment, which increases your stats even further. Which is really good because Celestial is so good with this because all stats will increase by a percentage. And you have all stats, therefore it's really improving a lot of stats. Yeah, you get stats while you're in combat. And you get an aura based on your current attunement when you combo with a combo field. That's quite nice, especially when you run this trait, you get Condiglance from comboing in a field. And then you get boons when you apply your Chain Sphere and quickness, so you can upgrade 100% quickness and you have a lot of boons. You can see even Aegis is there and Vigor, really strong. You can upkeep in all, and it's also for allies, so you're quite a support build. If you have some allies around, it doesn't matter, it's really good, it helps. And then this got buffed recently, so the base duration of your Shade Sphere boons is increased, really strong, so now it's much easier to upkeep all the boons. And then, this is the really good new addition here, you can now gain energy while Shade Spheres are active. This means that you can drop all your Shade Spheres and cast them off cooldown because you permanently gain enough energy to spam them. That's really easy. So this build is so easy to play, you just spam all your buttons. Because there is no problem with, let's say, waiting for the energy to cast your spheres. This is now gone. So you have so much agency on this build now. Really good. So that's it for the traits. Now to the skills. You will want to run Signet of Restoration. Passively gives you healing when you cast an attack. You should cast it if you need a heal because passive will always be there. And like I said, it will also apply. Then you have Signet of Earth, passively increase your toughness, and when you activate it, single target, it will apply bleeding and immobilize, and gives you magnetic aura, really strong. This will give you passively crit chance, and actively gives AoE burning around the target, really strong. Always cast those two off cooldown. And then you have Armor of Earth, that's your stun break, but also heavy barrier, protection and stability, really, really strong. On such a low cooldown, it's crazy, really good. You can swap out this, for example, for Blink or the Fortified Earth. So if you need a block for whatever reason, you can swap that out. I would say for most situations, this is the setup. And then you have the Glyphs of Elementals. Really strong, especially if you cast it in water. It's such a strong heal. It has, when you activate the Elemental, that is. You can also go for the Fire one for more damage. If you feel like, you can also go for example for Elemental Celerity to reset your weapon skills in the attunement if you really need it. But most of the time the Elemental does more damage. Or is more, say, reliable heals, for example. So I would go for the Elemental. Also can draw the aggro of some bosses and tank them while you deal damage, which is really nice actually. So in the weapon skills, your Sphere is an instant cast AoE field that does almost no damage, but gives you a lot of boons. So always cast it, and this is also a combo field, so you can combo with it. Especially the water one in water is really good, and the poison one in earth, or of course the fire one in fire. And we have some nice damage on the 2 skill in air. Always cast the orbs around you, the 3 skill once, and let them run around you to deal maximum damage. Try to upkeep it, and if it runs out, try to cast the Grand Finale. And then you get maximum damage, and then you can recast it whenever it's off cooldown again. So be aware that it gives you passively, for example, in air crit chance and fire more damage and stuff. So always keep it up when you can. This is a CC and this is also a CC. Always cast this when you need CC. In earth, the 2 skill is damage. This always keep it up. Reduces incoming damage. That's a block and gives you barrier, really strong. And this is an immobilize. So cast the 2 and the 5 for damage. This gives you Aegis, protection and quickness, really strong. And in water, this deals damage and chills, so it's also a CC, a soft CC. This gives you minus incoming condition damage. So always cast this, and of course it deals damage a bit. Then you have your healing, so it's a leap finisher, and if you hit someone with it, it heals quite heavy, so really good. And then you have your condition cleanse with this, and it hits. If it hits, it gets even more condition cleanses. And water, it gives again quickness, vigor, and resolution, really strong. And it's a water field, so if you jump to it or blast on it, it gives you healing. In fire, you have in fire you should spam all your skills because they not only apply might but also deal the most damage. This is just burning and damage. This increases the damage, like I said. This will also apply heavy burning in an AoE field. And this is some nice might application and also blast finisher. So you try to combo it, for example, with your combo fields or your catalyst spheres. Catalyst sphere and fire will give you quickness and a lot of might. So this is the build. It's really fun to play. It's really strong. You can upkeep a lot of boons. You can see it in the background. And it's really strong because it also has a lot of self-sustain and blocks and stuff for. So I hope you have as much fun as I do with this build. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more guides like this, don't forget to subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.